to the flag. Connie, read the minutes from the previous meeting, please.
The public hearing for the town budget opened at 7:30. Present were Supervisor Jeff Taggart, Highway Superintendent Mark Lang, and Paul Warner. Also present were Jamie Archibald, Ken Walter, William Young, Brian Rock, Linda Bevilacqua, Pete Bevilacqua, Donald Hubbard, Gene Hubbard, Jane Hubbard, Cindy Beach, Elizabeth Sparrow, Jack Law, Dwight Bruno, and reporter Caitlin Stevens. Paul Warner indicated the fire district budget for 2015 is $203,230.10. An increase of $500 for the town clerk position was requested. Also, Don Smith indicated he would rather have a total raise of $800 being proposed for the 4 town board members be given to someone else. A suggestion of an additional increase of $300 to Highway Superintendent Mark Lang and an increase of $500 to Paul Warner was made. Supervisor Jeff Taggart closed the budget hearing at 7:45. The regular monthly meeting was called to order by Supervisor Jeff Taggart. The minutes from the October 7th meeting were read. A change was made to indicate that a computer and a computer program is needed to assist with equipment repairs at the highway garage. With that change, Don Smith made a motion to accept the minutes. David Grant seconded the motion, and all present agreed. Ken Walter reported for the Kellogg Franklin Trust. The gate has been installed to block the A.L. Kellogg School Emergency Access Road. Jim Carey was elected to their board for a 5-year term. Belton's Landscaping will mow the athletic fields in 2015. Mark Lang reported for the Highway Department. He will be renewing the permit for the gravel bank. This permit will be good for 5 years. In regards to the natural gas pipeline, he will be mapping the roads and wants bonding for the roads. Video and pictures of the roads as well as core boring will be done. A road use agreement has not been finalized. A used grader located in Virginia will be auctioned, and Mark would like to participate in the auction. It is a 1998 grader with approximately 7,200 hours on it. Don Smith made a motion to bid up to $30,000 at the auction. Garrett seconded the motion, and all agreed. Mark would like to sell the motor from the truck that was bought from the county. Jane Hubbard would like the town to apply for funds provided by the Constitution Pipeline Community Grant Program. She also inquired about establishing a noise ordinance. Jeff indicated that issue was addressed several years ago and the ordinance was not approved. Concern was expressed about the compressor station for the proposed Tennessee gas pipeline. Plans indicate that the station will be located in Franklin. The concern was regarding the noise and air pollution and for our local emergency services in case of an accident. City Beach inquired if a survey regarding fracking had been looked into yet. Jeff indicated he would check into it. Jack Law expressed his concern about the power line and its proposed route. He would like to be protected from the power line companies as well as the pipeline companies. In regards to the proposed budget, with the fire district amount changed to $203,230.10 and the changes made from the requests in the public hearing, Don Smith made a motion to accept the budget with a total amount raised by taxes of $1,317,382.10. Lisa Hike seconded the motion, and all agreed. The town justice financial records were audited and found to be in order. Lisa Hike made a motion to accept the findings. Jeff Taggart seconded the motion, and all agreed. Vouchers were submitted for audit and payment. With no further business to come before the board, Garrett Sitz moved for adjournment at 9:10. Don Smith seconded the motion, and all agreed.
Any additions or corrections?
I move
No second. All in favor?
Aye.
Today, I guess we should. Today, the part of the town board went on a field trip to Hancock. We did have. It was John, Dave, and Garrett, and Dale Downey. He went, and Jack Law also went. And I would like to have a report from Dale or Jack, if they would. If they'd be, just because Dale took a noise meter with him too, I believe, right?
Yeah, I took the county's decibel reader.
Well, Dale's got all the poop there. He's got it on his iPad, and he took the readings. I'll be honest with you, I was impressed with the place. It was spotless. It looked like small factory, green metal buildings, painted buildings with sheet metal buildings. They took us to the office and introduced us to everybody. The place is immaculate. You could eat off the floor, and they said that, you know, they didn't do anything special for us. That's the way it was. When we got out of the vehicles, we asked them to turn the pipeline on because you couldn't hear it. I mean, we were, I don't know, within 20 feet of it, and we couldn't hear it. And they said it was running at full capacity. And then we took a tour of that building, generators, all their electrical panels, backup batteries, all of that type of stuff. And then from there we went into the actual pump station. I had hearing aids in anyway, so my hearing's not very good. And I just put them on low. And you couldn't be in there probably more than, without hearing stuff, you couldn't probably be in there more than 10 minutes maybe. I think it would really get to you. What was it there, Dale, 100?
It was 100, between 98 and 104 decibels in the building.
Yeah.
It was 26 decibels at the door, and down around 15 decibels at about 20 feet away from the building.
And then we went outside. They showed us their filter type situation. According to them, the air is cleaner when it comes out than it is when it comes in. And they have a big outlet for their waste product, whatever they have. We couldn't see anything. There's no smoke, no smell. We didn't get any smell. They did say that on a real heavy day with a lot of moisture, when things are changing over, when they're moving the gas from one place to another, you might get a small odor for a little bit at a time, but we didn't detect anything. They have it way down, I think we're 250 yards from the road anyway, weren't we, Dale?
Yeah.
And they have it down in a hollow, and then they built berms all around it in the front of it. It wasn't what I expected. I thought, we're going to get out of the car, we're going to hear clitter clatter. Did not. So
There was actually more noise standing out in front of this building this morning than there was taking the road noise than there was at the plant.
Dale's
About
got
20
pictures
minutes.
there of the.
Could you give us an idea of, like, just says average conversation, how many decibels that would be?
About 70. Normal conversation is between 60 and 80 decibels.
And then if you were, say, running a chainsaw within 10 feet or so, what would that
Chainsaw would be up around 100. That's why you need.
And you're saying outside the door before you went into the facility, right by the front door, it registered 26. 26.
Actually, Jack and Garrett talking back and forth to each other was about 90 at one point today.
What was the horsepower, Dale, of that compressor station?
17,500.
No, 15,900.
15,900.
16,000
Jack asked
horsepower jet engine. Jet engine.
What was the decibels there?
26 decibels at the door, 16 decibels 20 feet away.
What's the name of the road that it's on?
Hungry Hill Road, Town of Hancock.
Hungry?
Yeah, 1589 Hungry Hill Road.
Millennium?
It's on the Millennium Pipeline, but it's run by Columbia Gas.
Did you ask if they have an emergency plan if something goes
If
wrong?
something goes wrong, they just take the plant offline, and the gas will just flow up the pipeline. They don't, it just goes up. They don't bring it in, and then so if something goes wrong, it automatically shuts down, and the gas stops flowing into the plant.
Don't they also flare it?
No, they don't flare it.
They do in Pennsylvania.
This is Pennsylvania.
I know.
But we asked them the question today if they flared it, and they don't
They
flare
had
the gas.
problems there with DEP in Pennsylvania. I told them to put a computerized monitor on sites, and they haven't done it. Just so we know what the community is breathing when they have the accidents. Because I know about what happened down in the tree. Everybody was safe to breathe. Now we have guys dying. They went there to help everybody.
Is there an air
Guys that I
monitor?
worked with.
And are those readings available, or are they only?
I don't know, we didn't ask. I didn't ask.
We did ask if there were any problems, and the one fellow was very honest. He said the industry has changed around about 150%, 180% in the last 3 to 5 years. They've had problems, and they've ironed them out, supposedly, and but he did say, yes, we had some previous problems, but in the last 3 to 5 years, he said, look, if we don't do our maintenance and we don't do things right, he said, we go down, we don't make any money. So they want to keep the gas moving, but I don't know. That's just the way it was down there. I don't know what they're proposing to put up on the hill. Whether that's
30,000,
30.
double.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not comparing apples with
No,
apples.
it's not.
And they can add compressors as time goes by.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not, but that's what we found down there.
But that's half the horsepower that's
Yeah.
coming to Franklin, just
Yeah.
so people know half the horsepower.
Yep.
Dale, have you got any more to add? Jack?
No. Well,
Where was the closest home to the compressor station?
Right
You
across the
said
street.
how close?
250 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, and did Hancock have any ordinances to place the compressor station within so many
I don't
feet
know.
of homes? Insulated building or no?
Yeah. That way it keeps the noise down.
Oh yeah, they've got to have some. But it's noisy to be inside the building. There's no question about that.
Trees around it?
Yeah.
You said there's a moat?
A what?
Well, it's down, they've taken it down a hill and they flattened out the hill. So.
Yeah, they put a berm up there.
Well, it's not really a berm, they just,
Yeah.
it just comes down the hill and they flatten it out. So the
Yeah.
berm is actually the side of the hill.
Yeah. Everything is concrete and crushed stone. All of the foundation and where they put their pipes, they put crushed stones where they can just dig them out if they have a problem, get at them.
Well, thank you, Jack and
Okay.
Dale, for, I'm hoping it's unbiased judgment on this. Dale, I saw up in Delhi one day and mentioned about the noise meter, and he said he'd look for one and he'd like to go. So that's how Dale got to go with us. And Jack, he was a concerned taxpayer last month that seemed to be not biased. You know, not for, not against. He complained about the electric line and the gas, the compression station, so I thought he'd be a fair person to go. And that's why the 5 went. I was not able to go because I was in Delhi. But that's what the field trip did get done. And we're going to limit our responses, remarks, questions, or how people speaking to 3 minutes. And if you speak, then you're done for the evening. We'll have one chance to give you 3 minutes, because otherwise, our meetings, we've got other things that have to be done. Nobody's here from the Treble A.L. Kellogg Athletic? Okay, so that's off. So now we'll open it up to questions, I guess, or concerns from the taxpayers.
This is a different topic.
Okay.
I'm Carla Nordstrom, and I'm the market manager
I just
for the
opened
Franklin
your line.
Holiday Market. And on Saturday, December 13th, at the Franklin we'll have the Franklin Holiday Market, which will be held at the Franklin Firehouse from 12 noon to 4 p.m. 30 vendors have signed up to participate in this year's market. Many of the vendors are artists, artisans, and farmers who live and work in Franklin. This market is an engine of economic development for Franklin and provides visibility for local businesses. The town council can demonstrate their support by coming to the market on December 13th. We would also appreciate it if you would encourage your friends and family to come. The market will have many items to satisfy all your gift needs. I don't recall seeing you there. I've been the manager for the past 2. This is my 3rd year, and so I hope to see you all there a week from Saturday. Thank you.
Okay. Next. Blue man.
I'm a neighbor of Dale and Cindy Beach, live up on Van Tassel, property there for about 40 years. I want to express appreciation for the report back from Jack and Dale. Interesting information. We said sort of apples and oranges because they're different size compressor stations. Are there any similar size compressor stations to the one they're building here anywhere in New York State?
I think the one up at Wright, New York, they're going to increase. Now, right now it's at 22. Is that right, Brian?
There are 2 7,000 horsepower ones there. So I don't really know how you, comparing apples and oranges, how you compare several smaller compressor stations with one 30,000.
Well, if the weather had been better and if I hadn't got tied up with the county, we were talking about going to Windsor, which I say that's an animal.
But you see now, those I think are reciprocating compressors, whereas the ones down at Hancock and the one they're thinking of building here are the other type, the turbine type, which is a jet engine type. So I really don't think you want to compare those 2 different ones. You want to.
It's like 6 different compressors down there.
Right, but as I said, those are piston type, as opposed to this one, which is a turbine type. So they're 2 completely different animals.
Right.
I think
Would it be safe to say if it was twice the horsepower, there'd be twice the noise?
That's way out of my league.
I think it'd be greater, Paul.
Yeah? Because if it was twice the noise, it would be, what, 50 decibels outside?
Not necessarily. They could put more soundproofing on it.
Right, so it could be the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Noise level would be the same. Because, I'm just a simple person too. But you go with a 4-cylinder car and an 8-cylinder car.
Right.
There's really the exhaust noise out of both. They're very quiet. No, I mean, I'm talking on a new unit. I'm not talking a 10-year-old car or anything like that. But, it could be the same, but we don't know, and you're right about that. And maybe we'll do some more research on that and see if there is one around somewhere fairly close to 300 or 30,000 horsepower unit.
Yeah, that's the largest one that Solar Turbines makes. It's like half again as big as their next smaller unit, so there may not be any around here that big.
Right.
I'll take a look. I'll check with them.
Okay, Brian. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Brian had his hand up.
Well,
Was that
again,
the question? Is that
what I was going to talk about is, again, something different. So if you want to talk the compressor topics.
You have your hand up.
Oh, okay. I wanted to answer the question that Jeff asked last meeting that I didn't have a good answer for. We were talking about whether the council salary should be increased or not. And I hadn't thought about it, and I gave a little thought to it now. And I agree with Jeff. I thought they should increase because I think people should be fairly compensated for their work. And, if you don't, then you could wind up with a board that's not Representative Franklin because you'll get people who can, basically do without the little extra money. And if they're not fairly compensated, may not be the encouragement to do a complete job because you're not really being fairly compensated. Now, I think Jeff gets around 14,000 as supervisor, so I think in some way the council salary should be indexed to his. If they do like 1/10 as much work as Jeff, as many hours as Jeff puts in as supervisor, then they should get 1/10 as much, $1,400. I have no way of comparing them myself. But
every supervisor gets paid differently from the towns.
I realize that.
There's there's one that's, I don't know if she got it, or they got it. They were wanting 16,000.
No, I don't think she got it. I think she got down to 12.
Okay, but
Right.
that's still, I mean, she, right, must put more time into it. But I guess what I can come back on this one, Brian, with you, is that the board, I guess, said no to a raise and gave it to the clerk and Mark Lang. That's what they thought the money would be better spent. And I understand, I mean, I have the same feeling too, but I think this job, I mean,
I look at it as a community service, partly. I'm not looking at doing the job for the money.
But as I said, I think people should be fairly compensated for the work they do. And we were just talking about Margaretville and their budget problems. I was reading the article in the Walton paper about it, and you may have made a mistake in the budget last month. They had to redo their budget for a similar problem. It turns out you cannot increase the salary of an elected official after it's been advertised. So it was illegal to, as I understand it, to increase Mark. They had to redo their budget because they did the same thing. They increased their clerk's salary after it had been advertised.
well, I guess we can revoke the $300 increase, so we're within, we'll be lower on budget than what we were originally planned. How's that? How's the board feel on that?
Can we change the budget after we've approved it?
Well, it's been
You'd
sent
have
to
to
the
call
county.
another hearing, wouldn't you?
The budget has been approved and all sent to the county and everything.
I don't think we can change that.
I don't know. Well, Margaretville did the same thing. They came back the next month, and whatever they did, the newspaper wasn't really clear on what process they were involved with.
Well, I'll check it out with the county. I go back to the county on Thursday, and I'll ask the budget director or somebody at the county that hopefully has more knowledge than I do, but they should have. Okay? We'll look into that. Okay. Pete, I guess you're next.
Show us how many DOCs come out of that compressor station.
Well, they didn't give you any of the paperwork on
I didn't have questions.
DOCs come out of the compressor station.
What are
Volatile organic compounds.
Volatile.
It's a type of pollutant.
They said that it was all controlled by EPA, so.
It goes back to the question of the air monitor and the outcome of the air monitor.
I would hope EPA does cover it.
That's why I've been pushing for computerized monitors on site. I've been pushing that in Pennsylvania as long as I've been fighting it.
Has it happened?
They say what the citizens are going to pay for it. It's their industry. They should be paying for it. It's like just an owner owning a building in Manhattan. He computerizes every floor and every floor that what the temperature is and what the air is and air quality and everything. So they should be able to do it. That's why it's got to be implemented now before they come. It's for the safety of the community.
Is there anything else? Yep.
Yes. My name's Pat Wheelhouse. I live on Van Tassel Road. I've seen the FERC proposed truck route maps, and it looks like they go up Otsego Mountain Road, out Van Tassel, and then down Bissell, and possibly down Franklin Mountain Road. I'm just curious to know, how are the roads going to be maintained? I'm concerned about the condition of the roads after the trucks are there, and concerned about the noise and the fumes of the trucks while they are there.
That was a meeting in Delhi today that I had. Davenport supervisor, Masonville supervisor, Wayne Hamilton DEP, and Group Delta. They've got a Delta Road Protection Program. And that's what we've got to talk about here. I got some information on it. I think it's they're out of Endwell is where they're out of. Dennis Lardy from Davenport has been in touch with them first. And Wayne Reynolds, he was working on this program, but it got, his table's too full. So he was going to possibly farm it out. And this is a group that came to the county and talked about it. We're going to look at a road protection plan that Davenport's looking at. The town's decided that we'd like to get one that's a good one for all 5 towns that are affected. So everybody's on the same page. They're dealing with the same people, same regs for the companies. And that is in the process right now. Dennis is going to get theirs finalized and give it out to the other town supervisors or townships. And it looks like that's what we're leaning towards right now. I think it's a great idea to get together and put it together and possibly get under this delta, which the figures that were thrown at us, the first phase is more, getting the roads, which there's 3, they want 3 high traffic roads, 3 medium traffic roads, and 3 low traffic roads to compare to some borings in and stuff like that, to find out what the road is, so they have something to go on before the construction starts. And and then loads of material they figure they're going to be bringing in and transporting, just to give numbers. And that's why I felt, and the group felt today, that it was a good thing that this Delta, I think, is they work for other. They're in with the town of Sanford now, I believe. They didn't start with them. I think they are now, and other Windsor and maybe it's Nineveh. I don't think it's Nineveh. But they're a group that's into this road protection. They would have people up here to watch the construction. Watch a pipeline company. Making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be. If they're only supposed to have 300 trucks going across this road to finish this job, keep numbers, have an idea if they are staying within what they have told us. And and I think it's best to have somebody on the outside doing that. Be better than having us trying to keep track of it and stuff. And I think it'd be probably a better power policy too. And that's what we got together today in Delhi for, and that's why I didn't go to Hancock.
What would the cost of that be, and who would be paying for it?
Well, what I understand, it's about a $8,000 to $10,000 bill, which I think that's awful cheap insurance. I mean, it may be, if you've got if there's something extra that's got to be done, maybe a little bit more, but he actually said like $8,500 if they wanted to have traffic loads on the roads, how many vehicles crossed, and if the town could do that, or we could get the county's counters to go on the roads to give them an idea so they wouldn't have to do it. You could save some money there. Have meetings with more than one town, so you're educating the town board that if you had two towns together, it'd be the educational program would be cheaper because they're covering 2 townships instead of one at a time. So it really was I thought a very good start up there, and I'll give Dennis Valente the credit. He's working on that, and it's something we're going forward with. And Mason, yes.
Jeff, does it make sense that the people who are going to put the pipeline in should be the ones looking to bill for this? In other words, they're coming through,
right?
And then in order to protect what we need to protect and establish what they're doing, right or wrong,
right,
we have to buy insurance to make sure they're doing their job. In other words, I don't know, it just seems kind of like...
It is kind of backwards, but that's why I call it insurance.
No, I understand that, but I mean, that's their prerogative to put the pipeline in, and if they couldn't put it in, they have certain responsibilities.
And that's where that's what I've understood, is that they'll take tests of the roadways and borings of the roads and stuff like that, as part of their service.
Right.
So that,
I guess.
but I understand. I think you're right. It should be the gas company or oil company, whatever you want to call it. It should be their expense.
I mean, it's no different if they did a bond or anything else. They're going to have to put some money up front to
Yes.
make sure they do what they do.
And sometimes on some of these, they'll probably want to possibly fix the road before they even use it. Because it'd be better for them, because then they wouldn't be having all the, pothole or not like the soft spots and stuff like that. I mean, it's something that is in the works now, and it's something that can't be put off any longer. Okay. Sorry, Don.
Are you saying that the company is going to come in and do these test borings and things? That they're going to do that on their own?
Yes, that's part of the
Okay,
deal.
but isn't that like the Fox Garden?
No, that is this Delta company, Road
Okay.
Protection Program. This
That's
is
what
an
I'm trying to
engineering.
clarify. Is Tennessee or Constitution?
No.
They're not doing anything?
No,
Okay.
no, this is a, outside company. It's Delta Engineers, Architects, and Land Surveyors. And they would come in and do the borings of the roads. And, so we have it, have it on record what is, what the base of the road is and stuff. And that's where I think, the $8,000 to $10,000 is I shouldn't say bargain, but we pay almost $40,000 a year for insurance on our trucks and stuff, on the building. And if we can get some security out of that, I think it'd be possibly money well spent. Don first, please.
Yeah, Don Heber. I've been reading through the material, from the Davenport meeting that they had with Delta and also Delta's material themselves. And one of the things that Delta talks about even is that be careful with road use agreements. I mean, we talked here about ordinance versus agreement, and ordinance being law, agreement being civil, and if you're happy, whoever's got the best lawyer wins. So I just would say again that long term, we've got one pipeline coming down, we've got more things coming later on. So maybe long term, it would be in our best interest to try to pursue some sort of a road ordinance so that we have the teeth of law behind it, not just civil litigation. And even, like I say, Delta mentions that in their literature as well, that the RUA, road use agreement, the RUA, is only as good as who wrote it and who enforces it.
I know the way they were talking, the individual today, he was saying that one law firm out of Albany wants both a local law and an ordinance. And the one out of Binghamton, which is a large law firm, which I've heard good about, they don't see the reason for a law, but they do see a reason for a strong ordinance. So there's two different law firms.
Well, a law is an ordinance, isn't it? Or am I mistaking something? Versus an agreement. I'm sorry. I'm using an ordinance as a matter of a point of law.
A point of law. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I know it takes longer. It's a little more work to get an ordinance through. But this is not our first foray into what's going to happen in this area.
Right.
There's going to be several behind it. So I'm just making a point that it might be worth investigating.
Yes. Okay.
My question was, is the 8 to 10 for all the towns, or is it Franklin's?
That would be Franklin's share.
Franklin's share of the cost. Okay.
I'd like to know, Delta then would be a consultant, and they would be observing the construction company's use of roads.
Yes.
And then how would that be enforced?
Well, through the the agreement and stuff that we have. I mean, that's all got to be done before before the construction starts. You got to have the road agreement in place with agreement with the company and with the town. That this is how this is what we're starting from. And they told me that the borings and stuff, the gas companies like that because it's scientific. They know what the roads are made of and what to look for or expect possibly.
But Delta, they wouldn't be responsible for enforcing the repair of the roads.
No.
They would just report to us and say, this is what's
got to be done, or yes.
it's certainly a good idea to check with Windsor and Sanford, see how they dealt with Delta, or how Delta dealt with them. I know that there's several towns in Otsego County who had agreements or whatever with Delta. And of course, I don't think they really had to use them, but you might, check.
Right, that Otsego County is tied in with Delta.
and
I think
also-
the whole county is.
How long would this agreement with Delta last? That's another thing. Did you have to keep paying them year after year? or
No,
what?
they said there wasn't a maintenance fee or anything to it, is what was told.
Mhm. Well, another thing about the compressors, I don't know what kind of machinery is in them, but I know that Minisync might be a place you would want to investigate because they have a compressor that people are not happy with. And another thing about compressors that I learned about maybe 5 years ago, there's a decibel level that you can be concerned about, which might vary, especially if they're blowing off, flaring. I guess that's kind of frightening. But there's also the low frequency sound that goes much farther. It actually goes through the earth. That people don't even think about very much, but that can be bad for people's health. So those are just the three things I see.
Thank you.
Jeff, I've got the,
Okay.
and this is not a question. This is not a question.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say that I've got copies of the Delta handout and the notes from Davenport. I can put it up on the Franklin local website, and then people can read the information for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, go
Yeah. You may want to just check with the town of Hancock and the town of Deposit. They've already dealt with Millennium. So to see what protections they had in place when they put the Millennium.
I know they wanted a noise ordinance in Hancock, and Sam Rowe got run out of town for it. Other than that, that's what I heard through the grapevine. That noise ordinances are tough to.
But you can see how they dealt with the road issues. And
Right.
I know Hungry Hill Road 2 years ago was dirt because I've been on county business, and today when we were up, it was paved. So.
Up to the
So I'm sorry, what did you say? You said noise ordinances are hard to enforce or hard to create?
Pass and enforce.
They're hard to enforce.
Very tough, I don't know. Okay. Well, then we'll go. Yes.
A few questions. Liz Serrell from Franklin. I live on County Route 21, or County Highway 21 here in Franklin. Last month I attended the town board meeting and I asked the town board members if they were aware if the compressor station was coming to the town of Franklin. Jeff, you answered and you said you had no knowledge at that point. You thought it was coming between Davenport
I was told between Davenport
and Franklin.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the question again this month. Does the town board have any knowledge that the compressor station will come to Franklin?
I heard today it is coming to the town of Franklin.
Do you know its location?
No, I don't. I don't know between what road and what road, no, but I was talking to Dennis Valente, and he said he found out within the last couple days that it was in Franklin, not in Davenport.
And will it be in that 4-mile stretch that was
I don't know. It's in the town of Franklin.
proposed?
That's what's on the map. The map that they published.
Okay. Did you get that map?
No, I did not.
A map was not sent to you?
No.
And what protection, now that we know that the compressor station will be coming to Franklin, what protection are we going to do to protect the people in Franklin from the compressor station? Okay. And a location, of its location, away from homes, residences?
I would think that would be one of their high priorities, because they should want it not next to a house if they could help it anyway, and any way they can help it. I mean, anybody doesn't want, most people, they don't want aggravation, And they don't want angry neighbors. I mean, that's the worst thing you have is a neighbor you can't get along with. And if
Does
that's the
Franklin
case-
have any protection measures for the
At this time, we
homeowners
do
of
not.
Franklin from noise or within
No,
a
we do
certain mile distance?
No, we do not.
What are we gonna do about it?
We're gonna keep looking into it. This, and, it's amazing that, this proposed line, which it is a proposed line, that you were talking Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not a definite line yet, because they're gonna ride along the right-of-way of Constitution. Well, the Constitution pipeline has not been approved yet. So what are they gonna ride along?
It was today. They got the certificate.
They got the certificate today.
Read the email.
They granted Constitution as a go.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Jeff, I got another part of my question. With the pipeline is inevitable now, right?
Yes.
That was inevitable before.
Well, so do I.
Not if we fought it.
Do we, the people of Franklin, I've talked to these gas line people, there's different thicknesses of pipe. Can we put something in that says if that pipeline comes through Franklin, we want the thicker pipe to protect the taxpayers in the village up on the hill, 2 mountains away?
Right. I would think.
If there isn't, and I don't mean to interrupt.
Right.
Can we do a survey so that we can get the true feeling of everybody in
Oh,
the town? Because
the heavier the
3/4 of
better.
the town is protected because they're in the watershed.
Pardon?
There's a lot of the town is protected
It's about
because they're in the
20,
New York City
25%.
watershed. What's that?
25% of the town is in the watershed.
It's a percent.
Yes.
So is there anything that we can do about a survey?
Well, I don't think we need a survey. What we do is whatever the pipe that is the heavier pipe. I don't know if there's a different grade in pipe. I'll do some research on that.
Yes, sir. If it's going close to Sydney, New York, it'll be the thicker pipe. If it's in my backyard, it will be the thinner pipe. I asked the gentleman if I could pay to have the thicker pipe. Is there something we can do as the town to make sure at least we protect the people?
We want the heavier pipe the full distance.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I agree.
Well, what will be done now that we know it's coming? What protective measures?
Liz, you have voiced your opinion once. Let's stop and let's go to somebody else.
I'm asking a question.
I support your That's opinion. My answer.
I'm just asking what protective measures are going to be taken?
We don't know yet.
Okay. I got interrupted by my brother-in-law, so I do have another question. Does the town council welcome the compressor station? And with the 2 pipelines and a compressor station now coming to Franklin, what financial benefit will it be to the town of Franklin? Do they have numbers?
No, we do not. As far as I know, there's no numbers.
Do you have an estimated financial?
No, they're going to assess, the properties are going to be assessed. And that's where, I guess it should be assessed more than what the ag land was, or woodland was, or lawn was, or whatever. The assessed value will be great. To what degree, I have no idea. And the compressor station, I have no idea what that would be assessed at. That's all, that's, something that's got to be determined later. The assessor did say that don't spend the money before too far ahead, because all these venues like that, after 5 years, they want their assessment reduced. And he didn't give any figures on what the assessments are. It's becoming a major problem in the county of new businesses that have put up new buildings, and now they want their assessment dropped by 50%. Because it's not a new building anymore. And it's going to raise havoc with the town's assessment and tax levies. It's just another thing that's come before the county board. I think I'd like to move on to our road supervisor now, go through his report.
I'm not quite sure I had 3 minutes of asking questions. You said 3 minutes. And you did a lot of the talking.
You were asking a question, weren't you?
Well, I have one more
I never
question.
responded then, right?
But you
Some of the 3
responded
minutes
longer.
was on your question. So we'll leave it here.
One more
and-
question?
No. Jamie, go ahead.
All the CHIPS paperwork is all in, everything is approved. Just checks are cut around the 15th of December. The box for 38 will be here mid-January. As far as all the other trucks, everything's running at this moment. The grader we went to look at, they purchased at the auction, went for too much money. Went for $42,000. It was a nice grader. It was well worth it.
Yep.
Mark is working on the permit for the gravel bank. It's due in about a month's time. And he's still working on the road use permits. And that's all I had for this month. So.
Okay. Any other different subjects? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is a quick question. As far as the compressor station is concerned, we have to accept whatever decision they make. We or you as the town officials don't have a say in it?
I have been told we have got a say in it. I really don't know. I'm presuming what I've been told before, initially from Kinder Morgan, was that they would probably be buying up to a 75-acre lot to put the compressor station on. And that was what they told us at the meeting that.
Because they bought a parcel on 28 Constitution, not a very big one though.
Okay.
I don't know what that is for.
I have no idea.
That's the other pipeline too. That's the Constitution.
Right.
And that was only like 3/4 of an
Right,
acre,
right,
so
yeah.
it's nothing.
Would that be one of those valve and tower sites?
No, they're putting that one on Van Tassel Road, just off Otsego Road. That's the only one in Franklin.
That's the only one in Franklin. But I don't know what, I haven't heard that, but that's what, they want some isolation, I believe, too, because they don't want neighbors that are upset with the noise. If it is a little bit noisy, what we heard on the 15,000 horse one, if those noise levels are the same, and that's an if. If you got, I don't know, how big was the complex? An acre? Half an acre, the buildings?
The building, the compressor building was probably 40 by 80, 40 by 100, and the administration building, maintenance building was probably 30 by 50.
So you're talking, an acre.
I'd say maybe an acre at the max.
Max, okay, well, if they're taking 2 acres, and with any luck, then I think it would be smart to try to get isolated from, dwellings. But
So there's nothing written anywhere of how.
we haven't heard a thing about
distances.
where it's going to be on distances away. I've heard that one individual, I think they said the pipeline was go within 100 feet of their house, and he thought he made out real well. Now that's, I don't know, this is, everybody's got their own. Yes.
Jeff, with all this hot topic about the pipeline compressor station, is Mr. Ardinetti our town lawyer?
Yes, he is.
Has he been asked to come to any of these meetings?
No, he has not.
Can we ask him to come so that we know as taxpayers of this town what our rights are? Sounds like you got a little extra money that you don't know what to do with. That maybe
Okay. Well, I really think we ought to be looking for a new town attorney also.
Well, on the heels of the compressor station and
Right.
the pipeline, I think it would be in the best interest of the taxpayers of Franklin to have a lawyer here so we don't know opinions, but we know our rights.
I can give Joe Ormetti a call. That wouldn't be a problem. This is the last time, Pete.
All right. Well, we had Don Smith, Dennis Valenti, Hancock, they all took a vote in Dalhart, and Don Smith voted in favor of the pipeline. And Dennis Valenti didn't. He was the only guy, only two guys from all the town. I was there at the meeting.
Okay. But the pipeline was going to come through anyway, I believe. Who was the other one?
You voted on it in Dalhart, in front of everybody. We were there. Not me, Carwana, Jean Warner. She was there. He voted for it.
Okay.
Dennis Valenti didn't, and I know Dennis
Everybody's
Valenti
got their,
personally. I've spoken to him.
okay, but everybody's got their own right to vote, Keith. And that's why we're allowing you to speak too. I mean, we're not here, you know.
I'm telling you what I know. I have the experience, and I've
Okay, good.
educated myself.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna shut it off. I'm sorry. No.
Could they hold a town forum to answer questions about the pipeline and the compressor station at the school or something? Is that something you're willing to do?
I think they have to do that for the new pipeline. That's part of the process.
How will Franklin be educated? How will the people of Franklin know?
Well, but the other one,
Get their questions answered if they're not going to answer them tonight. Town council should represent the town of Franklin.
I'm a taxpayer. I think I should be able to speak. I did not
Have you
get my
not, have you spoke before, Cindy?
Not tonight. I have
You
not.
have not?
Tonight I have
No,
not
I heard your
spoken.
voice, but that's beside one. Okay.
I have not spoken.
Yeah.
Okay,
To
go
add to
ahead.
Linda's question, you were a little uncertain about the compressor. I have had the Tennessee Gas Pipeline representative who procures the site for the compressor station at my dining room table 2 times. He told me that they do the deal, I call it secret and underhanded. He didn't like that term. He said in private. It is signed, sealed, with no taxpayer input. We have no voice. We get a letter in the mail, half a mile to 1 mile, anybody that lives within that proximity, saying, we are your new neighbor. Then the town board is told where it is going, and that's how it works. And this is the man who procures the site. He said it is 90% certain. The engineers have said it will go in Franklin. Carved in stone, 90%. And that's how it works, folks. And we need to fight this. The people in Massachusetts, you say we can't fight, it's coming. You can fight these things. The people in Massachusetts, Kinder Morgan said, we're rerouting the pipeline because they marched from one end of their state to the other. Because they did not want a pipeline. 39 towns put unofficial bans saying we don't want this in our towns. And now Kinder Morgan has changed the route. And they're going to help the other people fight it so that we can get these people out of here. These can be fought. Don't let people tell you they cannot be. And one other question, because my 3 minutes is not up. If this compressor site goes on a town council's property, is that a conflict of interest? Do you believe so, yes or no? Would it be?
I would think he would not be voting on, they would not be voting on any decisions that were made on it.
Okay. They could not vote, you would not let them vote?
Right.
Is that right? Okay, thank you.
Because I've gone through that with the proposed wind turbine farm.
Okay.
That I, take myself out of it. And I would presume that would be happening again.
So that's all aspects of the pipeline?
Pardon?
That's all aspects, that person would not have a vote on all aspects?
I would think so, yes. Yes.
From a road agreement or whatever you're talking about?
Well,
Right on through?
I guess I'd have to renege on that. I would say if it was on the compressor site, I would say he would be denied because the rest of the route is actually put in, across people before they even knew it was going. They had the route somewhat set. So to penalize a person that had no input to where that line went, I think that's wrong. But to say, if and what, I know that everybody's talking about Don, okay, just go ahead and say it. You know, I would think, you know, if it was on, if the compression station was going on his property, he should not have any vote on, about the compression station. But the pipeline, that is going, you know, going through, you know, a lot of different people, which is very, I'm not saying it's a great thing. I'm just saying it's very unfortunate that it's being done how it is, but it is, you know, the government, it's interstate, so the government's doing what they want to do.
So the council members are welcoming it. Like Mr. Sitz over there, he wants it. Excuse me? You want it, don't you? The pipeline?
No, Linda, let's not go very much further. Because I know about 4 years ago, we were talking about this thing. And I said, well, if you got a $2,000 an acre lease on your farm, would you take it? And you said, yes. And I'd move away. So, who's any better than anybody else?
I said that?
Yes, you did. But we don't want to get a spin match. I'm sorry. I apologize for saying that to you. That was wrong. But some of your comments, some of the board members, I think, is wrong too. But let's just get back on even keel here, people. We don't want to get it. I mean, there's no sense getting a spitting match. I'm sorry. You know, we've beaten the dead horse at this meeting so far, I think. You know, every question, I'm not saying we've given the answers to all your questions. I'm not saying that. But I think we've heard a lot of your questions. And a lot of them over and over again. And if we can't answer it the first time, we aren't going to answer it the second time either.
Jeff, I just got one question. It seems like we pick up the paper and we find out that there's something new going on with the pipeline. There's something new going on with the power lines. It seems disrespectful to me, and I'm not faulting the board, that the board isn't contacted before anybody else is of what the heck is going to come down the road in our town. Now, I don't know if that's because we don't have a website or whatever you call it, because I'm a computer idiot, I don't know. But why aren't they contacting our board? For instance, the water. They're going to take 9 million gallons of water out of the alley out. I know Ralph has got to account for every little drop of water that he has to up on his golf course. Yet somehow they've got so that they can take 9 million gallons out of the alley out. And it's all stuff that comes in the paper that they haven't told you about. And I think that's disrespectful to the town of Franklin. And I don't know how to fix it, but and the town board should be in, you know, if there's going to be a compressor station, you should have known. They should have notified you it's going to be here before anybody else.
Well, I'm not sure how all this information gets out either, Jack. I really don't know. But I know Dennis Valente from Davenport just found out yesterday or today that it was going to be in Franklin. He had heard the same thing. Yeah. Franklin to Davenport. That was what the floating area. But how it was found out by somebody else, I don't know. Who has the
It was online September 15th that it was going to be in Franklin. September 15th, I went on the computer. That's when Tennessee pre-filed. It showed the 4-mile swath in Franklin. September 15th, it's been online since.
Just west of Bissell Road to just
Yep.
Bissell Road.
September 15th,
Right up here.
2014.
Yep.
It's now December the 2nd. So we've had all that time to know online that it's been there.
Okay, we're going to move on now. Anything else at the board? Any other subjects that somebody would like to bring up? Yes.
It's a different subject.
Okay.
And then it just came up, Jack just mentioned, that going online. And I had an idea. Lisa, you're the business teacher at Franklin School. They have computers there. What about organizing this so that our town representatives can use the computer? There are really good reasons to be able to do that. I mean, one of the best reasons I know is that in this day and age, it's a way to stay in touch with your children and your grandchildren. And the thing is that it would make such a difference to our town if we had a website and you could find out, like today, there was something, some people thought the meeting was in Treadwell, some people thought the meeting was here, and there was really no definitive place to go to except for Cotting, basically. And that's not the way things are done now. But Lisa, this is something you could take on. And
in my spare time?
No, I offered it to Jeff, because I can do that too. Jeff,
I'm not sure my employer would appreciate that, to be totally honest. To open up my room so people can come in and do research.
It's not doing research. It's doing computer work. To train people, to train accountants.
They can go to the library.
The library's fine.
Garrett, did you want to say something?
Well, I just wondered who didn't know how to use a computer.
Pardon?
You know?
What was the
The question.
Well, you said that we needed to be trained in the use of a computer. Who up here does not know how to use a computer?
Well, I talked to Jeff about this, and he said he wasn't comfortable with it. I think Don also, you mentioned that at the Treadwell forum.
But we can use computers.
Now, the rest of you maybe, so maybe you could do it, help Lisa, but it's really, it would make a difference in this town if it were a part of the 21st century, and that's the way to become a part of the 21st century.
Any other questions? Do we have anything from the rec committee?
No, pretty quiet.
Anything from the water? You don't hear anything, must be good.
I haven't heard anything. I saw them all last night.
Planning board we had before last month's meeting, and it's up Thursday night, planning board meeting. If that's all that's come before the town board.
Was that a planning board question?
I'm the liaison to the planning board. And last month we had the planning board meeting on Thursday, and we had the town board meeting on Friday. So the report was given to the town board about last month's meeting. So in this month's meeting is this coming Thursday. The planning board is normally the first Thursday of the month. Right here. Right here. At 7:30. On the first Thursday of the month. And last month we did have questions about the yoga, Hill Yoga. They had outgrown their original in-house business. So they came to the planning board and explained what was going on. And they're coming this month for a special use permit because they no longer operate the yoga business out of their house. They built a new house. So the other house is like a studio. So it's not in-house business anymore because it's not in their residence. So that's what that was.
Is that where we go to find out about like building laws and stuff on the planning board?
They've got the issues, and then we got the county planner at the planning board too. County planning board not cases. And they'll be here Thursday night at 7:30. This Thursday night. Yeah. And they welcome questions. If you have, if you wanted to buy, or they can either tell you that it's not my ball game, or this. Okay.
I know I spoke earlier, just a random comment. Just this mention about trying to get up a website or something. Jane Hebert last month said something about maybe subcommittees could be. Would the board consider being open to a subcommittee, some group that want to help, that you guys have control of, but some people that have, I know you're all busy, everybody's busy. I happen to be a little busy right now. But there probably are enough people that might be interested in helping to try to get a website or something going. So just keep that in mind.
Well, I've heard good and bad about a website. Some towns say, "Oh, what's the worst thing you can do?" Some say it's a great thing.
It's
so
got to be kept up. That's the bad part.
Right.
But yeah, just a thought.
And I did get a flyer in the mail from somebody who did websites, but, okay. Thank you, Don. Okay, I guess if there's nothing else to come before the board, we have a motion. Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? All in favor? Thank you.
Communication. You can't go back.